So today I want to talk to you about how my night photography over the past 2.5 years has improved. So ever since I was a little kid, I've always been fascinated by the night sky. I remember I think it was my 10th or 11th birthday, my parents bought me a small telescope, and I would just sit in my backyard and look at the moon for hours and just absolutely loved it. And I remember also as a little kid looking at National Geographic magazines and seeing pictures of the night sky and thinking to myself, someday it'd be awesome if I could take pictures like that. So about 2.5 years ago, when I started getting back into photography, one of the first night pictures that I did, which is this picture right here, which now that I look back on it, it's total garbage. It's barely in focus. The power lines are going across the shot. But that night when I took it, I was totally excited. I had actually been able to capture a photo of the night sky. That picture was shot on a Nikon D300 with an 18 to 200 millimeter lens at f3.5. Granted, when I took it, I had no clue what I was doing. But I was excited. I could see the stars, and that had me very excited. So I started watching YouTube videos and studying and learning and figuring out how to set my camera up. And then once March the following year came along, I set out to try to photograph the Milky Way again. And that was a product of this picture right here. So as you can see in between these two pictures, my knowledge grew a lot. This was shot on the same camera, same lens, but I wasn't completely happy with it. So I continued to learn and to add stuff to my toolbox. And for those of you that watched my video last week, you have seen what was my favorite photo of 2019. It was the Milky Way behind the windmill. And in between that year, I purchased a Nikon D800, which is a full frame camera, whereas the D300 was only a crop sensor. So the sensor is a lot bigger. And then I also purchased a Rokinon 14 millimeter 2.8 lens, which is a much wider, much faster lens. So I was able to take a lot of the concepts that I learned over the previous year. And then another thing that I also learned was to go into live view on my camera. And rather than just slamming the focus ring all the way over to infinity, what I started doing was I'll go into live mode, pick out one of the brightest stars in the sky, whatever that may be, pulling that up in live view and magnifying it, and then basing my focus off that, I go in and make it to where it's just a small, tiny point. And once you get it as small as you can, that way you know you're going to be completely in focus. And this picture is also the one that I set up my first preset off of, and now I've done the picture off of the Milky Way above Crescent Lake as well with that same preset. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and leave me your comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification, and we'll see you guys next week.